Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio on 4K Blu-ray from the Criterion Collection. Let's dive into this thing and talk about it. So I've watched this thing twice now, once by myself and once with my kids, and they loved it. And the way that I showed it to them, I did it in kind of a different way. I watched the special features first because I had already seen the movie. And so I went through quite a bit of the special features, which you can see there is a ton, or there are a ton. And they thought it was really interesting. Well, they thought it was interesting for a few minutes, and then they were begging me to turn on the actual movie and saying they were bored. But once I did turn on the movie, they had kind of seen how everything was done. And so, like, the scary parts of the movie weren't so scary anymore. And I even asked my 8-year-old, I said, so was it not as scary because you watched the special features first? And he's like, yeah. So for me, obviously, I watched it normal first. And then for them, since they're so little and I probably wasn't going to show them anyway, I thought I might as well spoil it with the special features first. And it actually, I think that was a really good idea. And I think they really, really liked it. And they were like super invested. And my little 4-year-old kept looking at me like, is he going to die? Is he going to die? So I absolutely love stop motion animation movies, from like Will Vinton, Christmas Special, California Raisins, Will Vinton, Mark Twain, Fantastic Mr. Fox, etc. And that dog and that guy with the cheese, Wallace and Gromit. I love stop motion animation. I love animation also, but one thing I love about it is that everything in the shot is meticulously made by a person. And this movie in particular, I was so shocked and surprised at how smooth everything was. Because usually stop animation is a little bit jerkier, but this movie is so smooth and so detailed. And speaking of detailed, look at this. I don't know if, let me see if I can make that. That's kind of blowing out. There we go. I don't know if you can see it, but I think there's a thumbprint on the bottom of this bottle. And I think there's another fingerprint on this bottle here from the people doing the stop motion stuff. But it's so incredibly smooth throughout the entire time. Look at this.
The world is rich with funny words.
Okay, let me just say a few things about this movie. This is such an incredibly beautiful movie and a beautiful 4K. The more I watch the movie, the more I think about the movie, the more I learn about the movie, the more I love it. And I want to just gush and tell you all the very cool and interesting things that I learned in the special features, but that would defeat the purpose of you just watching the special features. Let me just say that the special features on this show are incredibly in-depth, and they are like almost to the point where you feel like, okay, like I've learned everything about this. They're incredibly open in their interviews. They talk about even things they were frustrated with and the whole process. And it is absolutely incredible. Like few movies have had as good of a special features suite as this. Maybe that's a little dramatic to say, but let me just say this is among the best movies special features suites that I can think of. And so I'm not just going to tell you about all the special features I saw because that would take forever. But I do want to say this part. So this is the part where the dad is going to sing to his son Carlo at the very, very beginning of the movie. And this scene, the guy who worked on this scene for like 2 years by himself, or mostly by himself, doing this. And also, just a note on this song that Geppetto's going to sing. It's like so beautiful. And I love just seeing all the detail. This is seriously one of the best looking 4Ks I've ever seen. But this montage here, it's like father and son montage, is so beautiful. And wow, I've said that word a lot in the last minute, but it makes me want to be a better dad. So this is another shot during the make you want to be a better dad montage. And just something I think about this 4K disc is, I think I just said it, is that this is one of the best 4Ks I've ever seen. I think this is a perfect looking 4K in my opinion. I mean, like, look at the detail, and I know it doesn't really translate through the phone, but like the little like religious statues and everything, like the detail in this movie is mind-boggling, and it's like every single frame. Like, this movie is the kind of movie you can watch over and over. So I'm really, really glad I got it. And I totally blind bought it because I don't have Netflix. And I was like, I really want to see that. And so I've been waiting forever for it to come out so I could watch it. And it's incredible. Now, it's tempting to just gush my way through every single scene in this movie. But suffice it to say, the entire cast of this thing is fantastic. And the way that the story happens is very, very different from if you're used to seeing the Disney Pinocchio, from the fairy godmother to wood sprites to Sebastian J. Cricket, to just the setting, the fact that it's in like World War II, fascist Mussolini, Italy. But just like listen to this little bit from Ewan McGregor.
Perhaps you can help me. Help you what? To watch over him, guide him.
And Tilda Swinton.
Good.
I'm not a governess, madam. I'm a novelist, a raconteur, currently immersed in writing my memoirs.
Well, in the...
That's just an example. Like, he and everyone else in this show, like the voice cast does so good, and the animation is endlessly interesting to look at. There's this really funny running gag with the cricket where he's always trying to bust into song, because this movie does have musical numbers.
I'm going to church, I'm going to church.
So the movie does have musical numbers that it busts out into, and the cricket tries over and over to actually sing his song and just gets interrupted. It's so funny. It's very it subverts your expectations very well. I just say thank goodness for Criterion having this feature. I'm trying to hit pause and I accidentally hit stop. It's nice I can just get back to where I was. So something really cool. I said I didn't want to just tell you every single thing I learned in the special features, but I have to tell you this one thing. So something very cool about the puppets I learned is that they have, I can't remember the name of the other one, but there's a mechanical puppet like Geppetto, and then there's this one where they actually like switch out the heads. I don't remember the name of that one. Boop. But the Geppetto one, it's like a layer of skin over his face, and they just like manipulate it and push on it. And another thing that they said about the puppets in the special features that was really cool was that they actually wear them out, especially on like really intense scenes. Like, they'll go through and they'll wear them out and they'll break. And so they'll have to make new ones or repair them or go through several puppets. So it was so fascinating. All the special features on this were so good. And there's quite a bit of depth to this movie. Like, it is just, like an outsider puppet and a grieving father kind of a story that you can just watch on total surface level and be fine. But there's also like a lot of like really deep stuff and symbolism. And I loved this thing where the fascist guy asks Pinocchio, he's like, who controls you?
That's true.
Listen.
Who controls you, wooden boy?
Of course I control him.
Who controls you?
Okay, and I love that. And actually, you see Mussolini later in the movie, and he says, I like puppets. And because he's going to a puppet show. And that's a double meaning as well, because he's not just saying he likes puppets. It's like, I think he likes people that are puppets. And this guy asking Pinocchio who controls him, and then Pinocchio says, who controls you? That is awesome, because this is like a fascist guy who's clearly being controlled like a puppet. And so I just love the parallels, and there's so many interesting things like that throughout this movie. Pinocchio has some amazing one-liners. I love this one. Obviously, it's a theme. There's a theme of him being obedient to his papa, but he's been begging him for a hot chocolate.
Thank you.
Yes,
Listen to this.
Pinocchio, go warm your feet by the fire. Obey your papa.
Oh, yes, I will obey if I get chocolate. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh.
What a perfect line. I will obey if I get chocolate. And possibly the very best line in the entire movie. It really just hits me where I live. Listen to this. I'm on fire! Yay! It did not sound anything like that. But that is that's good. Pinocchio asks a very powerful question right here. That is just an example of the great stuff in this movie. Listen.
He's made of wood too. Why do they like him and not me?
So there's quite a bit of Christian symbolism throughout this movie, and that question is kind of one of the more like surface level ones. Why do they like him and not him? Because obviously all the people in the church were afraid of him, and getting into a little bit of spoiler territory. So move on if you don't want that. 3, 2, 1, go. So towards the end of the movie, he actually saves his father, and in that case kind of performs a savior type role and becomes like him. Even throughout the movie is resurrected. And so it's interesting that there's parallels, so right now he's like, why do people like him? But throughout the movie, as he grows and has experiences and saves people, he is more and more similar. So much cool symbolism throughout this movie. And Guillermo del Toro said about this movie that, what did he say? He said, kids can watch this movie, but it's not watered down for kids. And I actually really agreed with that when I watched it. I was like, whoa, this is heavy, and there's some scary stuff here. Like there's a part where the fascist dad pushes a pistol across the table to his son, and he's like, shoot the puppet. It's just like, what? Oh my gosh. Not gonna lie, that part freaked my kids out. But I agree with Guillermo del Toro that this movie is, kids can see it, but it's not watered down. Like it's heavy stuff. But the cool thing is even for the younger kids, it still has like the singing and the fun, so that it does work. So this is an amazing movie that is, once again, like an all ages kind of movie, kind of like how Disney used to be. And one thing I thought was interesting when I was watching the panel with James Cameron, where he was moderating the panel had, and forgive me, I don't remember everyone on here. It's Guillermo del Toro, the other director, Mark Gustafson. Alexander Desplat, and like cinematographer, sound design guy, this whole panel of these guys. And the thing that's interesting about this movie is, well, all the guys helming it are all like, they all had gray in their hair. Like, no kidding. It was like a panel of like gray haired guys. And not that it matters that they're guys, but that these are people that are older making this movie. The music, the sound design, everything. Like, this movie just has, it's a good movie with experience. Whereas a lot of movies nowadays, like, they just get the young hot talent, or check the right box kind of talent. And I think movies have been suffering for that. And so you watch this movie and it's just like, this movie's incredibly well done. Surface level, depth, the music, the design, like everything about it is beautiful. And one thing that Guillermo del Toro made a point of was behind the camera to give more people opportunities, like especially like Mexican animators and female animators. What's the term when the people that are actually working the puppets? He calls them actors because it's their performance. But he made a good point to help a lot of young female people and Mexican people and all kinds of different people work on this movie, which is great if they want to. But I just thought it was so cool during the panel. I was like, look at this, like, seasoned panel of guys, or of people, right? It doesn't matter who they are, but they are all guys, and just all of their life experience. Like Alexander Desplat, I'm slaughtering his pronunciation of his name, but he has so many amazing movies to his credited to him for music. And Guillermo del Toro has been wanting to make a Pinocchio movie for like his whole life. And so this movie is just like the culmination of these amazing, talented people. And it really shows throughout the whole thing. All right, I had a lot more notes to go through, so many additional scenes on here, and just talk because this thing is so beautiful. But I'm going to not. I just want to say that Guillermo del Toro is, I don't know if it's the right term, but like fighting back against the filmmaking that's easier. He said that this movie is not made by AI, and it is, what did he say? He said this movie is all painfully made by humans. And they just, as you're watching them make it, you're just like, oh, that is a hard to make movie. And it comes across just the love and care put into this movie. And I just could not recommend this highly enough. I love this movie, and I like a lot of the Pinocchio renditions. I mean, I even like the Disney. I like the Disney one. I even like the Jonathan Taylor Thomas one. I love that one. But this movie is beautiful, and it's fun, and it's funny, and it's scary, and it's inspiring, and it's cathartic, and it has fantasy and adventure and some cool like scary World War II stuff. It has some moments that genuinely I was like, what the heck? Like he enters the afterlife briefly, and just some very off the wall things, very Guillermo del Toro things. But I was so impressed with this movie, and I'm so glad I blind bought it. And yeah, absolutely love it. Beautiful 4K, beautiful sound design. The Dolby Atmos. They said they, well, you go into special features, just how they had the sound expand on certain scenes and get smaller on other scenes. And I can't speak highly enough. This is a perfect looking and sounding 4K Blu-ray, and the special features on here incredible. The panel discussion with James Cameron had a surprising a lot of F words when nothing else in the whole special features has any like actual swearing, but for some reason they just were a little bit looser with their language in there. So just heads up. But loved it, absolutely loved it. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this movie, but this is like a new favorite. So Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio on 4K Blu-ray from Criterion Collection. Spine number, what is that? Can you see it? Probably see it easier on this side. 1201? 1201. So good. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear, or what are your favorite stop motion animation, claymation type movies? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Bye.